What solutions do you think the government could put in place to improve the mental health of the communities that you serve?
I would say that when the health sector has more money being given to the mental health department, which then means they are able to employ more mental health providers, which also means that we also have more mental health hospitals, which also means that people are able to access mental health services for free, just like people are able to access maternal services for free. I believe that the government is able to offer free mental health services, and also having better hospitals, like the hospitals that are in existence, having better conditions, because you find in most these hospitals, people come in, they're just given medicine, no one cares about their psychosocial balance, no one is talking to them, no one is really helping them adjust to life when they get back to the community. So employing more mental health specialists in these areas will help improve the mental health services, and also specifically for the LBQ women, maybe also having more queer friendly therapists and having maybe healing centers where queer people can come and they can talk to someone who accepts them as they are and doesn't blame their mental health struggles on their sexuality. Because you find when a therapist isn't, and also I need to mention this right here, that it's not ethical for a therapist to give you advice based on their beliefs. A therapist is not supposed to tell you you're not supposed to be this or this because of what they believe in their religion. A therapist should come into a therapy room as a person with no beliefs, with no bias, with no nothing. It's very unethical for a therapist to call out your sexuality and tell you it's wrong. That is unethical. According to the practices of counseling psychology, the practices of psychology, that is very unethical, because a therapist is not supposed to be biased in any way. They're not supposed to be biased, so they're supposed to leave their religion at the door. They're supposed to leave everything they believe at the door. So when they come into that space, they should accept you just as you are. And a therapist is supposed to create a space where you're able to figure out your issues as you. Because we already have the answers inside of ourselves. It's just that sometimes it's hidden under so many struggles. So a therapist just gives you a space to be able to voice that out and gives you the tools. A therapist is not the pastor counselor that tells you go and say 10 Hail Marys or no. That's very unethical.
What do you think should be done to improve access to mental health services for LBQ women within the community?
To supplement on the previous question, maybe we could also advise or just put it out there for the schools to include mental health lessons for people in schools, because I do understand we are given a privilege of having PE, then all these other subjects, but then how about mental health, like the counseling? Because we have them in school, but then they really they don't hold a lot of water, and then also the counselors who are at school they're not ethical. The moment you open up, they just go straight to the head teacher. How are you supposed to handle such cases?
And you find the counselor is a teacher as well. So there's a conflict of interest. And even the peer counselors, because in universities you would find peer counselors, they're your fellow students, and mostly they don't know how to maintain confidentiality. So yeah, and I feel the schools having a private therapist that is usually there for students all the time. And yes, you will find that now schools maybe are having a mental health training, but that will happen once in so many years. And it's something like I don't know about schools here, but in our schools you find that we used to have this fellowship thing every morning. And I feel that time can also be dedicated to other things. Maybe people can talk about self-esteem, talk about self-care, self-love, and how emotional regulation, emotional intelligence, I feel these are things that would help our students, and we would find less students committing suicide because they failed exams.
And then also when it comes to parents, yes, sometimes it's not easy to accept your child or to have certain conversations, but as a parent, give time to understand your kids, because if someone is young, they're also battling with understanding whom they are. So if you don't give them that platform or the love or anything, then I don't know, like, kids are going to end up committing suicide and rejecting who they are, and they'll end up on the streets. And guess what? You'll be like, oh, my kid left. Like, it will also traumatize you as a parent because you didn't find the solution. But we have organizations which can help. We have people to talk to. So as parents also, like, just have proper conversations. Even schools, like school directors, you do not have to humiliate someone for their sexuality because they are young, and you as an adult, it's your responsibility to make sure that these kids have like the proper communication and how to handle certain cases.
I think we need to have a way of sensitizing these parents, because see, we can try to think about the solution within ourselves, but we end up going back to spaces where we are meant to be. That's why you find children running away from home, or that's how people are ending up in these shelters, which I also hear are not that safe. There's even sexual abuse within these spaces because no one is really caring for you. Everyone is caring for themselves, every man on his own, and somehow you'll find different people are struggling with different things in the spaces we should be calling safe. So we need a system whereby these parents have to be educated and sensitized as well. I'm also in my head imagining, you see, we watch these movies where there's like Catholic priest in a hidden room, they don't see your face. Confession rooms. I'm thinking we need something like that, which has been put up whereby no one knows who they are talking to. And then at the end of the day, even when the therapist has finished talking to you, they don't know who you are, you know. I'm thinking we need something like that whereby a child will walk into a space, say everything they feel, get all the help they need without bias, without anyone judging you or looking at you funny. You don't have to deal with your teacher after. And that person, I think, should be on call 24 hours. Because see, even in workspaces, people are mentally, the mental health in workspaces is almost never catered to. So we need that room or space which should be the people who are implementing these laws should ensure every space has something. They should call it some room. There's a black room or white room where you go and take everything off, because you're required. There's a siren ringing and you're supposed to be in class for biology or for this, and no one really cares about what state of mind are you in. Children lose their parents and they go back home and they're expected to resume like nothing happened, and somehow they're struggling. Some still have questions. So we need a confession room, for lack of a better word. We need a confession room in every space, be it work, be it school. Then parents need to be sensitized, and then we need some way of following up, some link connected from school to home. So from school to home, where there's someone that follows up. The child is battling with this, but the parents don't know how to even deal with this. So we need a neutral person who's going to find a way of following up. I don't know, all these approaches are really like, I've individualized them, but if there is an institution that can come in that angle to ensure that all these things are somehow put in place, I'm thinking when people know that there is that space which is open for me 24 hours, you can go there. You don't have to be called, or you just go there, maybe press a red button, and the therapist is somewhere. They'll get an alarm and they'll be aware, and then they'll show up. Someone who has nothing to do but that. That's what I would think. I think it would have an impact.
I think that is something that is really good. Having something like a confession room where no one knows who is telling me what, and that means that the person on the other side can't take that thing to anyone.
The confidentiality thing will be sorted.
What do you think should be done to improve access to mental health services for LGBTQ women within the community?
We should start by finding out if the organizations that we work for have that provision of mental health in their programming, not only in the activities for the community members but also for the staff. Like, is there a day dedicated to just check in on your staff and ask them how they are, if everything is okay, if they need anything? Like, is it mandatory? Because we have to make sure that in the human resource, like before signing, there is that provision. I think it will also help, because it doesn't make sense for us to always advocate for mental health for the community people, yet us ourselves, we are not mentally okay, right? Because we have to first be mentally okay to be able to serve the community. So we have to make sure that the organizations that we work for have like these programs dedicated to the staff, right? And then also the bosses, like some of the people who head organizations, like when it comes to the way they communicate with their subordinates, like which language are they using? Like, are you sending me work things within the period of working hours, or you're sending me something when I'm sleeping, or like I'm going to wake up and I find this rude message from my boss? Like, how is the communication like? Because at some point you have to put boundaries. Yes, you're my boss, I work for you, but then you also have to respect me as someone who works for you, right? And then also motivating your team, like to do outdoor team building activities. Like, we rarely do those things. Are they also there in the organizations that we work for? Like, do they support their people in terms of team building? I think these are some of the things we should look at. And then also for the places like we are going to get these services, it would be good if like maybe the welcoming words, like there's a rainbow flag or like a rainbow sticker, to make sure that someone who is going to come in and share their story, like they're going to relate, because they're going to say this is a safe space, like they're accepting.
I would also add that our activists are always the people who do so much, yet they are the people who suffer so much as well. So I would specifically say that we need to support our activists in terms of their mental health, because if you really look at the history, most of the people who have died by suicide are actually activists and people who are very vocal in the community. So we need to have systems where we are able to check in with these people, check in with their mental health, check in with what they are feeling in every moment. Because sometimes you will give the world everything and leave yourself nothing, you know. And to every activist out there, you also have to be an activist for yourself, because you cannot be giving everyone 100% and you're leaving nothing for yourself, because it will get to a point where you will burn out. You will burn out, and when you burn out, you will look around and you find there's no one. So it's also very important to be an activist for yourself.
And I think personally, I'll speak as a businesswoman, or as I feel like many times our lives are out of balance when we can't meet some of our basic day-to-day needs. So I will encourage the people out there, every single person. I know that the average successful person has at least 7 sources of income. There is many things we can do. Yes, there's many things we can do. I'm thinking we can bury ourselves in many things, as we mentioned, working out, jogging, these kinds of things kind of put you in a better mental state. So also thinking, when people are in good terms with their finances, they make better decisions, and money is power. So I'm thinking if we can find programs that are going to create stable, sustainable incomes for people. Some of us are better people when we are okay. When we are broke, you don't cross our paths, you know. So when you come in a good relationship with your money, I'm thinking people should find hands-on skills. When you have something you're good at with your hands, even if you're planted in a desert, there's always a starting point. You won't make bad decisions, because first of all, you'll have a lot of things you know you can do. There is people, even in lockdown, we had people who are waiting for salary suffered more people who are having hands-on skills, they weren't complaining as much as us who are waiting on salary. So I'm thinking we need to fight to continue that movement of skills development within our women. When they are in a good place with their finances, they'll be in a better place to control what they can take in from people and what they cannot. Okay, Jay mentioned about activists not being listened to. You cannot feed from an empty cup. So you have to fill your cup first, then you have what to give to other people. And then the takers also, be lenient. If I'm thinking every individual out there, don't be around people who don't add to you, but make sure you also add something to the people you are around, because takers don't have a limit. Some of us, we are very toxic like that. We expect people to give us, but this thing of charity is not going to help anyone. You have to break from that mental slavery where you expect to be given, and also find a way of giving. Because me, I speak from a point of, I'm a person who tries to understand the concept of giving, or the concept of the Bible. People who give, first of all, are very confident. When someone's giving you, their hand is up and yours is down. So, and that is exactly how you are. When you're always receiving, you always are below. Yes. So when you give, somehow there is an element of power. You get power, and then you feel sufficient in the spaces you are in. So before we hope to help people, we need also to be those people who give help, because you never know when someone needs your help. But some of the people who keep taking and they never develop, they never pull themselves out of that dungeon of sadness, poverty, being on receiving end forever, because they never break out of that slavery. So I'm thinking, bottom line, we have to be the person we want to be. Be in a space when you know you're adding to other people. Make sure when you're in a space, you don't leave people the same way you found them. We should also be people who want to have an impact on the people we meet. So as we hope to help our fellow LBQ women, we need also to be better LBQ women. Yes.
Really insightful. Jay, please share your last message and also your social media handles.
Wow, this has been a beautiful conversation, and my last words would be that mental health is very vital for you as a balanced human being. For you to be successful, for you to be an accomplished human being, your mental well-being has also to be positive. And this requires you choosing every single day to work on your mental well-being. It starts when you wake up in the morning. What thoughts are going through your head? Are you thinking, I have to do another day of work? Are you waking up feeling, I am alive again? You see, these thoughts are very important. We may make them memes, we may make them to these videos, but these thoughts that we tell ourselves are very, very important. Your thoughts, as a man thinketh, so he is. As you think, so you are. And so your thoughts are the ones that inform your habits. They're the ones that inform everything you do. So your thoughts are very important. Guard your thoughts. And this is not from a Christian point of view where we are saying, no carnal thoughts, no. no, that's not what we are talking about. We are talking about when you fail, do you start telling yourself you are a failure, you're stupid, you cannot do it? When say something bad happens to you, do you start thinking I'm unlovable, I'm unworthy? Because all these things are very important. How you think of yourself is the kind of person you also even attract in relationships. Because when you're feeling positive about yourself, you'll find you're attracting people who are positive about themselves as well. But when you're beating yourself up, that's when you find you're attracting toxic relationships, because it is said we attract what we are. So if you're working on your mental health, then you'll attract someone who is balanced in their mental health. So my last words would be be kind with yourself, be gentle with yourself. We all struggle sometimes, we all find it hard with this life sometimes, and this adult thing is not a joke. It is not a joke, and every single day we are adjusting to so many things, and we are living through a pandemic. I mean, right now war is happening in some countries, so many things are happening. So be kind with yourself. I know social media has us painting pictures of good lives and good trips, and self-care does not have to be you booking a vacation in Maldives. It is as simple as you walking outside in that sun and just sitting there with yourself. That is loving yourself. It doesn't have to be extravagant. It's that 8 liter of water that you put there so that you make sure you hydrate. That is the ways that you love yourself. So be kind with yourself, love yourself for who you are, however you are. Even if you don't understand it, just love yourself, love your body as it is, and you will find that your life will start changing. So my social media handles, you can find me at Introspective J. For our organizations, it's Team IMHA on all social media pages. The Black Mental Health Program is at Black MH Program on Instagram and Twitter. In our organization, International Mental Health Association, we have the Black Mental Health Program that was developed in order to come up with different campaigns and projects that can help to improve the mental health awareness in the Black community and in the African diaspora. So under this program is where we had this fellowship where we partnered with our partners, Alive Again Foundation in Barara, and we also had a 28 days together campaign for the Black History Month that is ending tomorrow. So you can check that out on our social media pages. We've been having daily posts on that, and be on the lookout for more for Black Mental Health Program. So under the Black Mental Health Program, the fellowship is known by the name J3 Fellowship. It is a short form for the 3 Swahili words: Jijue, know yourself; Jitambue, identify yourself; and Jielewe, understand yourself. This fellowship was designed to try and bridge the gap between the community and the mental health space, whereby we are able to provide mental health tools and services to everyone, especially people who can't afford it, because we acknowledge that paying for therapy is somehow not financially feasible for some people, and some of these tools we can be able to give them to people for free, and they can be able to improve their lives before getting to the place where they can be able to afford therapy. And we also understand that people cannot be in therapy for the rest of their lives. Sometimes it does not make any financial sense. So what are these ways in which people can be able to heal themselves with these tools and be able to make themselves better people?
Thank you so much, Jay, for the conversation and being our guest. Don't forget to like our different social media handles for Queer Prism.
On Twitter and Instagram, it's Queer Prism 256. On Facebook, it's LBQ Women. And don't forget to subscribe to our YouTube channel at Queer Prism 256.
Thank you guys for such a beautiful and insightful, educative. Well, I thank you, everyone. I've learned a lot in this particular place from all my colleagues here. But personally, I would love to leave you with this. There is the half empty, and I've heard of that theory. But when we choose to look at the positives, because sometimes we dwell so much on the negatives, why this is not right, and then we never look at the positives. Let's take time to acknowledge the good things, the few small good things that we have, and be happy about that, because when you're grateful, a thankful heart receives more. So let's try to acknowledge also the good things we have, and also highlight them in every place we go. And also remember that 1% is better than 0%. Make an effort, drink some water, try to eat healthy. If there is some control you have over any effort, just an effort, even if it's 1%, try and put that in. Subscribe to Queer Prism 256 and also Forever Media Africa on all platforms, and that is YouTube, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Thank you so much, guys.
Thank you. Bye.